Hi, everybody. You know, there is a lot of good news out there today, and let me just start with this. Americans are more satisfied than they have been in nearly 13 years with the way things are going in this country. That is according to the Gallup poll just today. Americans are more satisfied than they have been in nearly 13 years. This is great to see. On the economy, jobless claims remain near a 48-year low. Retail sales are up for the second month. Industrial production is up for the third straight month. So the economy is growing. Workers are getting ahead. There are new jobs and opportunities being offered by the day. But if you saw yesterday's Ways and Means hearing, Democrats are still using the same old doom and gloom that they were using 6 months ago. They seem to be in deep denial about all of this good news. It was bizarre before, and it's even more bizarre now, when Democrats are openly calling for tax increases, which will do nothing but harm our economy. A thriving economy means there are more job openings. A thriving economy means there are more opportunities. A thriving economy means families get ahead, people get out of poverty, kids come out of college with opportunities and offerings. That's what a thriving economy means. And there could not be a better time to take action to help more people join our workforce. That is why the Farm Bill that we are debating today is so critical. It sets up a system for SNAP recipients, where if you are able to work, you should work to get the benefits. And if you can't work, we'll help you get the training you need. We will help you get the skills you need to get an opportunity. This is going to get more people out of poverty. This is going to get more people a steady job. This is going to get more people moving toward a good career. It will help people go from where they are to where they want to be, to realize their own version of the American idea. I am very pleased that we are moving forward with this phase of the Better Way agenda. If you recall, when we ran on this in 2016, this was a core component of what we told the country we would do if given the opportunity. Well, here we are. Another part of that agenda also calls for helping our veterans. And yesterday, the House took a big bipartisan step to improve health care at the VA. The House took a big bipartisan vote to toughen penalties for those who intentionally target law enforcement officers as well, this being Police Week. Today, the Energy and Commerce Committee has its final markup on legislation to crack down on the opioid crisis in America. And we will soon move forward on financial services reforms that will help small businesses get better access to loans and capital. So it is good to see the country feeling better. It is good to see the country feeling better about how things are going. And it's good to see confidence and optimism coming back. And it's very good for us to be making progress on these things that matter the most in people's lives, which is why we are here. Questions? No glasses today. Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today's the one-year anniversary of the start of the Mueller probe, and I'm well aware of what you said before about the probe. But recently, the Vice President told Andrew Mitchell that he thinks it's time for Mueller to wrap it up. Do you agree with the Vice President?
Well, I think he should be free to do his job, but I would like to see it get wrapped up, of course. I mean, we want to see this thing come to its conclusion, but again, I've always said he should be free to finish his job.
You don't think it should be accelerated?
It's been a year. My guess is he's probably coming to a conclusion. I can't speak for that. You'd have to ask them that. Chad.
I know that there's been pressure from conservatives in your Congress to address immigration, particularly the Goodlatte bill, maybe related to the farm bill. Describe these tensions in your conference over this issue of immigration and the idea that they're trying to tie this immigration issue in some form, specifically the Goodlatte proposal, to farm policy.
I don't think it's.
Some people say are unrelated.
Yeah, they are unrelated, and I wouldn't describe that as accurate, that they're trying to tie it to one to the other. What we've been trying to do is find an immigration bill that has 218 votes. When the court took away our deadline on March the 5th, the Democrats pretty much stopped talking to us on it. So we wanted to see if we can do our own immigration bill. So we've been laboring to get 218. It's clear that we don't have 218 for a specific bill. That is why members are now trying to figure out, well, how can they get their version of what they think should happen to the floor? So we're working in earnest with our members to try and address all of their concerns about immigration reforms. And so those are ongoing conversations. The question is, can we get legislation to the floor that has a chance of making it into law? I think it's futile to bring a discharge through, which would guarantee nothing goes into law. So what we're trying to do is work with our members to address our members' concerns and have a process that could actually get law.
And to clarify, on the farm bill, part of this problem isn't the idea, though, you said you're trying to get to 218 to pass a farm bill. If they come up with something that says, all right, this will get you to 218 on farm, isn't that a deal you'd be willing to make?
Well, look, I'm not going to negotiate in the media. We're having good, productive conversations with our members to advance our agenda on all fronts.
You said you're working with the president to come up with some kind of immigration plan that can actually become law. Has his demands at all changed since the last failed Senate debate? What principles now?
No, he still believes the same things he believed before, and we share those agreements, those principles. The point I keep making is, if we're going to advance immigration legislation, let's advance immigration legislation that could get a presidential signature, not one that would get a presidential veto. That's the point we keep trying to make. Phil.
Along those lines, given the dynamics, Senate, the president, your party over the last decade, in what world is there a bill, do you foresee a bill that actually exists that can accomplish the things that get to the White House?
Not with 218. So the question is, could we have a bill that has a vast majority of Republicans that some Democrats would support? What's the combination? You know, frankly, when the Senate failed to pass anything, that surprised us a bit. I thought the bill that the president supported, that I thought was reasonable, could have passed. When they killed that bill, that made me less optimistic. We're going through the same process here of seeing what kind of process could support and produce an outcome that could get a presidential signature, and we're still exploring that. Who are you with?
Obviously, we're still talking about cybersecurity issues, dealing with 2016, Mueller probe, all that. But also here in the House, there was this issue with Imran Awan, the Democratic IP aide.
Oh, you mean that yeah.
Yeah, he was banned over a year ago, and we haven't really heard anything about it since. And I've come to learn that the House Inspector General was briefing you guys and the Minority Leader and the Administration Committee from July onwards, like throughout the meat of the election, about cybersecurity issues. And I've seen the briefings; they seem pretty scary stuff about unauthorized access. And yet he was left on the network until shortly after the election, which is obviously inconsistent, particularly on Democrats' side with
Yeah.
the rhetoric about the importance of this. Can you
Right.
address why he stayed on the network and why he still hasn't been around?
That's a question you would ask the people who made those decisions. Obviously, we were not the ones who made those decisions, but this is an ongoing police investigation, so I don't want to get into the details of a police investigation.
Why you guys waited on the House, the Administration Committee in your office, from July until October?
I'm not going to comment on an ongoing police investigation. Yeah, Anna.
I was wondering if it is still possible
Right, right, yeah, so people think this was my deadline. No, it's the law's deadline.
I understand that, and if so, where the wiggle room would be?
The wiggle room would be at the ITC. The question is, can the ITC constrict their time that they would take to process? And that's where the wiggle room would be. So it's really a question for the ITC. My guess is there's probably some wiggle room at the ITC on how long it takes for their part of the process, but not an indefinite amount. And that means time is really of the essence.
So it is still possible.
I think it is still possible, provided the ITC takes less time.
Mr. Speaker, returning immigration, is it still the White House's view, in your understanding, that they're sticking to that January framework, or are they willing to talk about a narrower bill that could get that sweet spot where you get a vast majority of Republicans?
I'll have to defer you to the White House. I don't want to speak for the White House. The president hasn't changed his opinion, his principles, his pillars. And if there's a change, I would defer you to the White
It's
House.
fair to say that the White House is still engaged in these conversations?
Yes.
about-
Yeah, absolutely. Becca.
Have you had any success in convincing the president that the pillars he laid out as the demands he has for an immigration bill just aren't going to pass through Congress and he needs to?
I agree with his pillars. I think the president made a very good faith effort. Moving to a merit-based system is in the interest of our country and our economy. A lottery makes no sense, and converting a lottery into a merit-based system makes a lot of sense. Securing our border really makes a lot of sense, and then having certainty for the DACA students so that they have certainty. All of those things make sense. He was extremely reasonable in putting those pillars out there.
But they will pass the Senate or the House, and they didn't pass the Senate.
Again, I think that's a question for the other side, but the president, I think, has been extremely reasonable. Who you with?
Just on NAFTA, the question of wiggle room at the ITC there would only be maybe
Yeah,
a week or 2 weeks.
right.
not that
I think
much.
that's about right.
Do you have any indication from the administration that a NAFTA deal or the notice that they need to send to take off the TPA timeline, if that's imminent enough for that wiggle room to?
I can't speak to that. The question is, with the ITC having, let's just say for the sake of your question, for the argument, a couple of weeks of wiggle room, that buys the administration and our trading partners 2 more weeks to get a deal. Will they get a deal? I do not know. All right. Thanks, everybody.
You know what, the world legend this weekend?
Oh, is that this weekend?